Oh yeah, I take a lot of vitamin D supplements. I take like 2,000 I use a day.
And then I also do what's it called? It's like something health. It's a shake you drink in the morning that gives all your vitamins and stuff.
Oh, excellent connection. Maybe they did. Had Comcast come out. Says you have excellent connection. Almost never says that. Man, if they actually fix my connection, that'd be amazing.
Heck yeah.
I mean, I have my doubts, but
Type in UFC on ESPN Preview. You're in the third video. And the first two are ESPN videos.
oh well, that works then. Hey, and somebody gave us a like. Was that you?
Nope.
Hey, 2 in here and a like. So we'll have some people in here when we start.
Can you put the link to the bracket challenge in up top, and we'll just keep dropping it?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good picture too, with Brunson and Holland.
Cameron Miller's up in here. What's up, man? How's it going? I just put the timer on now, guys, just as people funnel in, so I don't have to repeat myself so many times, because I'm sure that gets annoying to people.
And don't forget the prize part of the bracket challenge too. That we're offering a prize with enough people join, and they also get an entry into the Stipe contest.
Oh, yes. So hopefully some people are interested in doing the NCAA bracket.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that even if you don't know anything about college basketball, most of the people that always win know nothing, and they just randomly pick.
Oh, like every time I never win.
You know, people will pick just higher seeds throughout the whole thing, and they'll win. Or they'll pick by, they like that name better than the other name of the school, and they'll win. It would also be cool in the future to do like a 16 fighter breakdown to where we have our own tournament of who we think is the greatest heavyweight of all time, welterweight of all time, pound for pound of all time.
Well, as I say, heavyweight, of course, it's Stipe, but there's others that are up for doubt.
But you know what I mean? Make a bracket where like on the community page people vote week by week, and we have matchups 1 versus 16. You know,
Oh, that would be interesting, actually.
we could do that during, and we could all, and you could even make it like just top 8. Do it during March Madness. It could be the fight with friends, or anyways friends, greatest of all time bracket challenge breakdown, something like that.
What's up, Pulse Reloaded? Good to see you, my friend.
It's been a while since Pulse has been in one of these.
Yeah.
I like the little picture that Pulse has next to his name. The meter.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I was trying to drop the link on my phone from the app, but it is not. Oh, there's a timer on there, though, so that's good. So anybody looking to do an NCAA bracket, you have up until like a few minutes before they tip.
And first tip is tomorrow. Anywhere will be 12:15 Eastern, 11:15 Central, 10:15 Mountain, 9:15 Pacific. And yes, Fury and Anthony Joshua are signed and ready to go.
But why do we still have all these time zones? That's the real question. No.
My thoughts on Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua is, I think Tyson Fury is going to do to Joshua what he did to Deontay Wilder and just over Wilder.
Well, they just signed for 2 fights.
Yeah. And I think that's awesome. I think that's going to be big money fights.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, we got about 1 minute for people to come in to the music, and we'll start breaking down the fights coming up. There we go.
Did you read that now that Joshua and Fury are all set to go, that they're talking about Wilder fighting Adrian Ruiz?
Yeah, it sounds like that's probably going to happen. Wilder called him out.
Yeah.
Wilder wants to fight Ruiz.
I mean, if I'm Ruiz, I think the fight.
Oh yeah, get in shape. Get in shape. Lose that gut.
And he's only has a certain amount of time for these big money fights.
Yeah. All right, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Here we go. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Special edition of MMA with Friends here with Billy Hughes. And we wanted to do this to make sure everybody had enough time to get into the NCAA bracket. We're doing a March Madness bracket, and sounds like we're talking about doing some possible prizes if we get enough people in. You want to talk about that, Billy?
Sure. I'm going to do that while you post the bracket challenge on Twitter with the prize.
All right.
So if we get 10 people or more, I'm going to start with a $25 gift card. If we can get up to 25 people, the prize will be $75 gift card. And that's for the bracket challenge. Mike's going to drop the link. And if you join the bracket challenge, you will also be entered into the contest for the Stipe versus Ngannou fight, where you can win a $50 gift card to the UFC store. So you win both ways. Plus you get to compete against us. So join the bracket challenge. Mike's going to drop the link. It's also in the description, I believe. And it's through ESPN, and you just pick all the way through the championship game. And even if you know nothing about college basketball, it doesn't matter, because those are the people that usually win these ones. So it's just a way for us to have a little bit of fun, and for one of you guys to win some cashish. So let your friends know. Anyone that can join is more than welcome. It's a public group, so pass along to anyone else that would be interested, and we'll have some fun. Mike, they can't hear me.
Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay. Tell me how that is now, guys.
Can you guys hear me any better? Just let us know in the chat how I sound on volume-wise.
Got you turned up quite a ways now, so
Okay.
should.
Pretty much what I was saying. I'm sure
little hard to
whoever can hear this, it's going to be repeated. We have a bracket challenge for the NCAA tournament. As long as we get at least 10, the prize will be $25 gift card. If we get 25 or more, it'll be a $75 gift card. Anyone's open to join. You, your friends, your family. It's a public group. And you also get an entry into the Stipe contest for the Stipe pay-per-view, where you can win a UFC gift card to the UFC store. So join in, even if you don't follow college basketball. Like I said, those are the people that usually win. And it's a way for us to have fun and for you guys to win a little money.
All right, there's our bracket. Yes, it's better. Thank you, Cameron Miller. What's up, Beowulf? Haven't seen you in quite some time. Good
And
to see you.
whoever finishes first, that's not me or Mike, wins the prize. So even if me or Mike beat you and you finish third, you win the prize. Because I want you guys to get a little money out of it. So.
Cal L, thanks for coming in. Hadn't seen you in a while either. Formerly known as Cal L, that always watched your streams. I think I told you last time I had to create a new account. Yeah, I remember something about that. I was wondering, bro, if you have an email or something, then I could shoot an email to you. Yeah. It is fightswithfriends@gmail.com.
I think Isaiah's saying PFL, right? Isaiah? Shields in the PFL? Is mine always out of correct?
Oh, Clarissa Shields, yeah. That's going to be interesting. Man, I listened to her interview on Rogan. I'd watched her fight. I hadn't listened to her talk a lot. She is one cocky lady. There's no confidence lacking there, I'll tell you that much. Isaiah Sky, good to see you.
You do, man. Also, go Cougs. So, yeah, like I said, guys, copy that link and share it with whoever you think would be interested in joining the bracket challenge. And as long as we get 10 people in there, someone's going to win some money. And you automatically get entered into the other contest for the UFC gift card on the Stipe broadcast. So we'll keep plugging this throughout this, but we're also here to break down Brunson and Holland on Saturday night. So we're going to start going through that card fight by fight and see what you guys think about it. So share your opinions. This is an interactive broadcast for all of us. So take part.
Yeah, we're going to go through the main card, I think, starting with Tuivas versus the guy who has, oh my goodness, I feel so bad for this guy's last name, but Billy has adopted him as his favorite fighter, so that should make him feel a lot better. Guy's name is Harry Hunsucker. Now, I mean, you know, it's bad enough. Your parents, you can't change the last name. You know that your name's spelled like this, Hunsucker, right out of the gate. Do you really have to name your kid Harry? Come on now. That's just mean.
It was motivation for him.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Man, that'd be motivation for me to kill my parents. No. Oh, I guess... No, that's pretty bad. That wouldn't be right. Maybe not quite that far. But taking on Tuivas, what you were saying, and I believe I said that was correct, that Ty had been cut, and then it looks like he got invited back probably because of COVID.
I think so. Real quick with Mr. Hunsucker here, he's fought a lot in this local Kentucky organization, and he recently fought last November on the Dana White Contender Series, where he lost by TKO to Jared Vanderea. But other than that, he's won 7 out of his last 8 fights. So Dana's already had eyes on him, and he's getting a shot at the big time. But he almost feels like a feeder fight for Tuivasa. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I know Tuivasa, you know, he'd lost 3 in a row, which that kind of used to be the old rule. He lost to JDS, he lost to Blago Ivanov, and he lost to Sergey Spivak. He came back and defeated Stefan Struve last October. But that's the only 3 losses in this guy's entire career. I mean, before that, he took out Rashad Coulter, Cyril Asker, and Andrei Arlovsky back-to-back. I mean, that seems decent to stick around as a heavyweight.
He also brings a lot with just the fans. He does the shoeies, and he's very interactive with all of his fans, so he brings a lot of publicity to the UFC. And that, I'm not surprised at all that he's came back.
You have thoughts on how this fight is going to go and why?
Obviously, with me never seeing Mr. Harry over there, I got to think it's going to be a first-round KO, TKO, along those lines.
Yeah, I know Harry. He's going to be upset because, he still has that name and somehow can't get rid of it. But the biggest thing that jumped out from me with Harry Hunsucker, and YouTube, that's really his last name. Please don't downrank me anymore. He's got 3 losses, and he's been knocked out. Oh, look at this. All 3 losses, all in the first round, and all in 3 minutes, 34 seconds or less. I think that's a pretty safe bet.
If we go to FanDuel, or whoever your favorite one is, Tuivas is a heavy favorite. So if I'm going to put a bet on this fight, if we're into the betting world, I would bet on going for a first-round stoppage by the way of knockout.
What do you get for that?
What's that?
What do you get for a first-round knockout for Tuivas?
I'll tell you guys real quick. Let me pull it up. So read the chat while I pull that up, Mike. I'll pull the betting odds for this card.
All right. Definitely will. Tuivas is coming off a win. Yes, he is. Son Pizza, good to see you, man. You guys see Endeavor filed for an IPO today. Now, they had filed before, but I didn't know that they filed again. It's a good time for everybody. The market's on fire. Ty's a 4-1 favorite. Thank you, Bay. Should probably be about a 30-1 favorite. Ty's only 28 or 29. A lot of growth.
So these are FanDuel odds, guys. But as of right now, Tuivas is minus 300. Hunsucker is plus 245. And then if we go to the alternate ways of betting, they will not have the first round ones up till fight day. I forgot about that. So all we'll have tonight is the money lines. So right now he's at minus 300. Pretty heavy favorite, but there's a lot of heavy favorites on this card now. I'm looking through it.
Yeah, I'm looking at DraftKings, and they're giving me maybe a few more options here. I'm on the prop bets. I'm trying to find the right fight here. Oh, okay, there's no props up at all in that fight. There are on some, but nothing on that one. I mean, I hate to say it's like a guaranteed fight, or a guaranteed bet, but why the hell would you not pick Tai Tuivasa by first round knockout? I don't see it going any other way.
Right. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Can you tag the link to the bracket challenge? Like, how you tag people's posts on here?
Oh, like pin it to the top? Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because I was trying to copy it, paste it, because there's new people that come in.
Oh, thank you. That's a good idea, yeah. Okay. Pin to the top here. So just me and Billy so far.
Yeah. Whoever wants to join our bracket challenge for the NCAA tournament is more than welcome. Your picks have to be in by tomorrow morning, 12:15 Eastern Standard Time. But if we get at least 10 people in, the winner gets $25 on a gift card. If we get 25 people, it goes up to $75 for the winner. And if you join, you're automatically entered into the contest for the Stipe fight, where you win a $50 ESPN gift card.
UFC store.
Yeah, and you don't have to know anything about basketball to win this at all. Just make your picks and have fun with us. Anyway, back to the fights.
Chris Jackson, good to see you, buddy. Says Brunson looked way relaxed and mature. It won't be as easy as Holland thinks. I think I think Brunson's making a big comeback lately. I think he's really got things on track. Weren't you saying he switched camp? Was it you that was telling me he switched camps, Billy?
No.
Oh, you know what? I was talking to Wyatt, and he told me. I was thinking it was you for some reason. I did hear he switched camps, though.
So we're pretty much in agreement with Tua winning.
Billy sounds like he's a mile away. Let me see what I can...
Really? Who said that?
Song Pizza.
I still sound like I'm that far away? I did drop my phone for a second.
JPJ with the first donation of the night. Micah, how do you think Bones will do at heavyweight? What do you think JJ's path to the belt looks like? Do you listen to the Jim Cornette podcast?
I listen every week.
I have never listened to the Jim Cornette podcast. It sounds like me. I need to be.
I am a certified Cult of Cornet member. I just ordered an autographed book from him. I'm waiting for his action figures to come in.
Ah. That's funny.
All I'm saying is that link up there in the top song pizza is to join our NCAA bracket challenge, where you can win anywhere from $25 to $75. And anyone's welcome to join, so you can tell your friends, your family, your mailman, and you also get entered into the contest for the $50 gift card on the Stipe fight. So it pays to just compete.
All right. And make sure you hit that like button today, or I will send Harry Hunsucker over to your house. What he's going to do, I have no idea. But...
So we're all in agreement with Tua, and so the next fight on my card is Max Griffin and Keenan Song.
All right, let me get. What are your thoughts on that one? I'll let you go first on that one too, I guess, and then I will promise I'll go first on the other ones.
Breakdown on the assassin Keenan Song. He is 16-5 with 8 knockouts, 6 submissions, and 2 submissions. He's won 2 straight fights and 4 out of his last 5, with only losing to Alex Moreno. His last fight out was a 2-minute knockout of Callan Potter, and that was on the Felder Hooker fight night card. So he's on a pretty good hot streak here. And then his opponent, of course, we all know Max Payne Griffin, excuse me. He's 16-8 with 8 knockouts, 2 submissions, 6 wins by decision. He, on the other hand, is 2-2. Actually, so that was 1, 2, 3. He's 2-4 in his last 6. He is coming off a TKO via doctor stoppage last November, when he's got back-to-back losses to Cowboy Oliveira and Alex Moreno, who's beat both these fighters. And he has losses to Pitbull Alvarez and Curtis Millender. So he's struggling as of late. And on the betting side, it's a close bet, but Max is the minus 198 favorite, with Song coming in at plus 166. So it's almost a toss-up in that fight. So it's kind of a make-or-break fight for Mr. Payne, Max Griffin.
Yeah, like opponent, Alex Moreno, they both lost to him. Max Griffin, he seemed like he was off to a really good start in the UFC, been pretty rocky lately. Keenan Song on a 2-fight win streak, coming off a first-round knockout of Callan Potter. I mean, the fact that these odds are so close, that doesn't surprise me on this one. It's a tough one. You got almost 100% win or finish rate on Keenan Song. Almost even 6 submissions, 8 knockouts. Only been to decision twice. He hasn't finished twice, both by knockout. Max Griffin only been finished once in 24 fights. It was by knockout. Has 8 knockouts, 2 submissions. I'm going to say Max Griffin by, I'm going to say unanimous decision, because I don't think he gets to finish on this one, but I'm going to go with Griffin.
I'm going to go the other way and pick Song by decision. It's either going to be split or unanimous. So I think it's going to be the third round's going to be the key to the fight. And I think Max Griffin's on a slippery slope here. And I think Song's going to take it. I would also put a little bit of money on Song. I wouldn't put a huge bet, but I'd put a tiny bet on him, because he is the underdog.
All right, Song Pizza says Song is picking Keenan Song. Good to hear that it stopped lagging. Thanks for letting me know that too. I was worried about it because I changed up the settings a little bit on this to try to get a higher resolution. So I was curious if YouTube, rewarded us for that. All right, so split on that one, an agreement on the first one. Next, Gustavo Lopez versus Dana White Contender Series favorite Adrian Yanez.
We got to start with Gustavo Lopez, 31 years old. He's 12-5, 5 wins by knockout, 6 by submission. He only has 1 win by decision, so he finishes his fights when he wins. He's coming off a rear naked choke victory back in November, and before that he has lost to Tuivas, but before that he was on a 3-fight win streak with 2 knockouts and a submission. So all in all, he's pretty hot fighter there. He trains out of Extreme Couture, and his opponent is, Mike said, is the Dana White Contender Series darling, Adrian Yanez, 12-3 with 7 wins by knockout, 2 by submission, and he is on a 5-fight win streak, all by knockout. Betting wise, Yanez is a -200 favorite with Lopez at +168. So all in all, even the betting odds, this is pointing to a dominant performance from Mr. Yanez on Saturday night.
And Yanez, tough guy, very, very nice guy from everything I can see. I follow him on Facebook, talk to him back and forth. If you're looking for, a fighter that will respond to you, he is one of those guys. He's just coming up, but he sells merch. I know he's been selling out of his merch quick. So this guy's getting popular very quickly. He does have, I think, a pretty tough opponent coming into this against Gustavo Lopez. Like Billy said, he has been knocked out a couple times, only had 1 fight go the distance. But I think Adrian Yanez, I think he could be something special. I think he is, he's young. He's only 27 years old. He's 12-3, but he hasn't lost, he's lost 1 fight since before 2017. He comes into this one on a 5-fight win streak. And I mean, when you're in the UFC, that's pretty big. I'm going to say he gets it done by unanimous decision. I think Gustavo Lopez is going to be a little too tough to finish, but maybe Adrian gets a late finish. Either way, Adrian Yanez.
I'm right there with you in the chat. Any thoughts on the Yanez Gustavo Lopez fight? And just catch up on some of the chat. Junk says 261 is so hype. And then Song says 261 is Masvidal versus Usman, and that is correct. Right,
yep.
That's what I thought.
I hear you. Sounds like a relaxing night. Yeah, we were just chilling. I'm trying to drink an entire case of hard seltzer before I started my stream. So Billy was so patient with me to talk with me on the phone while I was waiting for AAA for 3 hours. So thanks for that, Billy.
Behind the baseball here, guys. We've been trying to do this broadcast since about 6 o'clock Mountain Time.
Hell yeah.
So we're pretty much in agreement with Yanez. The betting wise kind of agrees with us as well. So then we're moving up to the next spot on the card, which will be a fight Mike didn't want to talk about, but I convinced him. And that's Cheyenne, is it Baez? How do you pronounce it?
I think so.
And Montserrat Ruiz. And Mrs. Baez is 5-1. She is from the Dana White Contender Series, which she defeated Hillary Rose by unanimous decision. And she is on a 4-fight win streak. Her only loss is in May 2008 by decision. And she's fighting Ruiz, who is 9-7. And I can't pronounce her nickname because I can't speak Spanish, but it's like Kanye or something like that. And she's won 8 out of her last 9, obviously being 9-1. Her only loss was a decision in 2008 to Danielle Taylor. But since 2008, she's only fought once, and that was July 2020, where she won by scarf hold arm lock over Janusai Morandi. So, just fight-wise, Baez has fought a lot more often lately, but Ruiz has a better overall record. And then when you go to the betting odds, Cheyenne Baez is a big favorite, -375. Ruiz is +300. So I got to go with Miss Buys on this one.
That scarfold choke is or scarfold arm lock, excuse me, even more impressive. First round. That is a very, very rare submission.
What's up, Wyatt?
Wyatt in the house. Good to see you, my friend.
Wyatt, tell all your friends that watch college basketball to join our bracket challenge. They can win $25 to $75.
So Montserrat Ruiz, like you said, she had that scarfold arm lock submission in her last fight. One of only 2 submissions in her career, though, in 10 fights. I don't think she repeats this tonight. And just with the odds Cheyenne buys, I think she wins a unanimous decision. I didn't know much about either one of these women coming into that, but I'm going to go with the odds-on favorite.
Yeah, it's kind of a straightforward. I'm surprised, to be honest with you guys, that this is on the main card instead of the Marion Renau fight. I'm just saying. I have Marion Renau in the 3 spot instead of this, but it shows you how much that the UFC is pushing Cheyenne buys. That they're putting her in the 3 spot.
Yeah, that is interesting, and I had honestly never heard of her before looking at this card. Wyatt, what's up, man? Yeah, predicting fights, but we were talking, I think it was you I was talking to the other day about Derek Brunson changing training camps. Was that you? And if so, who did he change to? Because I do not remember.
All right, my doorbell just ring. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, I think Billy's pizza's there since he was patient talking to me and waiting for my AAA to come for literally over 3 hours. Agreed, I think Usman takes it again. Usman TKO's Masvidal by crotch sniff guaranteed. Showing 25 and has some aggressive striking. I wonder who that was I was talking to then. That's interesting. I thought for sure it was you. Okay. Maybe I just heard it on a podcast and thought I was... Maybe I heard it on a podcast and I was talking to myself. But if Jorge wins, imagine the hype would be insane. It's going to be a much different fight. We'll talk about this one for a minute while we're waiting for Billy on the next prediction. Training camp. They have training camps for a reason, guys. Jorge Masvidal, he took that fight literally on like 3 days' notice. And literally all of his prep time pretty much for that fight was spent in quarantine and being cleared to actually enter the cage at the height of a pandemic. Now, do I think that he showed enough that he can defeat Kamaru Usman in a rematch? I don't. I think he can make it much more competitive. But Colby showed, that Usman, he's definitely hittable. Masvidal is a much different kind of fighter. But, we've seen some really slick footwork from Jorge Masvidal. Go back his fight before the Usman fight against Nate Diaz. And I know that a lot of people want to talk about the controversy of the cut with Nate Diaz. But Jorge Rivera made Nate Diaz look like he did not belong in the sport anymore. It looked like he should be retiring and serving French fries at McDonald's. I've never seen him schooled like that. Masvidal's footwork was incredibly superior. His boxing, all of his striking, everything was completely on point. I think we see a much different Jorge Masvidal for that fight. I think, if Usman wins, I say Masvidal gets 2 rounds. And if it's a finish, I say it's Masvidal. Trevor got
pizza just for song pizza.
All right. Jorge has a 3% chance of song pizza. Oh my! Did I say Jorge Rivera? Jorge Masvidal. Thank you.
Hey, El Conquistador Jorge Rivera was a legend. I miss that guy. He was a good fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a great fight with Chris Leap. Him and Lieben could both crack. So
that means we are up to the co-main event on... Oh, real quick, the prelims on Saturday are on ESPN2. The main card is on ESPN 1. Big ESPN. So the co-main event is Gregor Gillespie and Brad Riddell. And a quick breakdown of these guys. The gift, Gregor Gillespie is 13-1. 6 wins by knockout, 5 by decision. He is coming off his first career loss to Kevin Lee by head kick knockout. But before that, he was 13-0 to start his career. With some impressive victories, he got knocked out Yanez Medeiros. He knocked out Jordan Rinaldi. He knocked out Andrew Holbrook. So he's got heavy hands, but he did just get head kicked into outer space by Kevin Lee. And his opponent is Brad Riddell, the Quake, out of Auckland, New Zealand. He is 9-1, 5 wins by knockout, no wins by submission, but he is on a 6-win fight win streak. The thing is, 4 of those wins in a row are by decision. He does have a couple knockouts in there. So pretty 2 heavy hitters coming in there. And now the betting line, it breaks down as, I have to log back in. Give me 1 sec. It took too long.
The guy that almost revived Kevin Lee's career.
Gregor Gillespie is a minus 225 favorite. Riddell is at plus 188. So the odds are in favor of Mr. Gillespie. And I think I'm going to lean that way too. I do think we're going to get a finish in this fight, though.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Brad Riddell, I mean, I won't spend a whole lot of time on that, but his only loss is to submission. He's got 5 knockouts to his credit, but he lost by armbar submission. It's back in 2018 to Abel Brights. But first round, 1 minute. Gregor Gillespie is 10 times the grappler Abel Brights is. I just think Brad Riddle is going to be completely out of his league in this one, and I'm going to say that Gillespie submits him in the first round. And that brings us to the main event.
Well, I want to the chat has to say first.
That quickly, of course, the main event of the month is March Madness, which we didn't get last year. We're waiting a whole year for this.
So if anyone, friends or family of anyone in here, the pinned link is to our bracket challenge. If we get at least 10 people in there, it will be for a $25 gift card. If we get 25 or more, it goes up to $75. Plus, you automatically get entered into Mike's contest on the Stipe pay-per-view for the UFC UFC store $50 gift card. So even if you don't know anything about college basketball, it's worth a shot. It's free to join. Anyone can join and try to make some money, man. It's plain and simple. I don't know why you wouldn't want to join.
Everybody's making money from home now during this pandemic and stuff, and I mean, a lot of people are just winning contests. I'll tell you, I was talking to Billy earlier today about my mom was a stay-at-home mom all the way through our childhood and stuff, but one of the things that she did literally to help the family, and I forgot to mention this, was she was like the queen of winning those radio contests. And I mean, she won money, she won trips for them, never had to buy a CD. That was back when people used to buy CDs. But I mean, all of the stations, she would always be at like her max winning, because you can only win so often. And she would have it on a calendar, like, okay, I can win on this radio station in 8 days. And she just go on there and win. So, I mean, this is the time to make money while you're sitting at home. So why not get some free gift cards?
The main event on Saturday night is a pretty big fight. I'm very intrigued by it. We've got Kevin Holland and Derek Brunson. With Derek Brunson, he's up to 37 years old now, guys. He's getting up there long in the tooth. He's 21-7, 12 wins by knockout, 3 by submission. He is on a 3-fight win streak that includes Elias Theodoro, Ian Heinisch, and Edmund Shabazian. 2 by decision, 1 by knockout. And he hasn't lost since he fought Israel Adesanya and Jacare Souza. He also has a knockout of Daniel Kelly and Lyoto Machida. So pretty much, Brunson's only lost to the elite in the weight class. And his opponent, Kevin Holland, hype train is coming through on this guy. The Trailblazer, Kevin Holland, 21-5, 12 wins knockout, 5 by submission. He is on a 5-fight win streak that includes knockouts over Jacare and Charlie Ontiveros. He also has wins over Joaquin Buckley and Anthony Hernandez. His last loss was in 2019 to Brendan Allen by submission. And then we go over to the betting odds, and it is almost dead even. Minus 172 for Holland, plus 140 for Brunson. It's a pick 'em, guys, and I'm kind of leaning towards Holland, but barely.
Man, and yeah, I think those odds are just like completely appropriate because, I mean, I really wanted to do the same thing. Basically, I wanted to say that these should be even. You have one fighter that I think was very, very good, maybe had the potential to be great in Derek Brunson. He had hit a few roadblocks, lost to Anderson Silva in 2017. Won 2 in a row, and then lost back-to-back to Jacare Souza and Adesanya in 2018. Now he's switched things up. He's looking so much better. He's coming off of a third-round knockout of hype train Edmund Shabazian, defeated Ian Heinisch, Elias Theodorou, both by unanimous decision, which you know how hard it is to get a unanimous decision in the UFC nowadays with Chris Lee on the loose. Kevin Holland, though, very close to Fighter of the Year. This guy, if you had to take all the champions out, this guy was a Fighter of the Year head and shoulders above. Not only is that 5-fight winning streak is in 1 year, from starting in May 16th. From May 16th to December 12th, Kevin Holland fought 5 times. That is insane. 7 months. This guy literally fought every 6 weeks. That is nuts. I mean, knocked out Jacare Souza with a vicious, vicious knockout in the first round, his last fight. He's knocked out 4 of his last 5 opponents, 3 of those guys in the first round. This guy is like a totally I feel he's a totally different fighter than he was after his last loss to Brendan Allen in October of 2019. I don't even recognize that guy.
The only thing I would worry about is, remember when Cowboy went on his 5-fight win streak in 1 year? The burnout factor. Did he stay mentally focused and keep improving in his training? And I personally think so, but I think it's going to be a good main event. I think they're 2 top-level fighters that are going to throw in great performance, and I pray we don't have to rely on the judges.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the stats. I got a pretty good idea if I was betting. I really like Derek Brunson. I think he's a tough dude, but in his 7 losses, he's been knocked out 5 times. Kevin Holland's knocked out 4 of his 5 opponents. That helps me make my decision very easy, and I'm going to say Kevin Holland by knockout in the 3rd round. And I would be willing to put down some money on Holland by knockout.
Now, if I look back through the card real fast, through the whole card, if I had to pick a fight of the night, because I'm asking you the same question, Mike, what I would think would be fight of the night, I might lean towards, I think I might go with Griffin and Song. I think that has some fireworks coming our way. Or the main event would be my second pick.
Yeah, there's a couple of them get out of that. I think Gustavo Lopez versus Adrian Yanez. That's my number 1 pick for fight of the night if I was going to pick.
Giles fight on the undercard, Mike.
If Trevin Giles actually makes it to the cage this time,
I thought you might want to mention like what happened to him last time.
Well, he passed out on the way to the cage after dropping way too much weight. Trevin Giles, the problem, had a big problem. And I don't know that he's gotten this fixed. Still at the same weight class, I believe. He was at middleweight last time. Middleweight for this one. Hopefully they got those things under control. And yeah, I joke, but I only joke because, he was okay. You only hope safety of the fighter is number one, and you hope that he's in the right weight class now, that maybe something freakish happened, and it's just not something, hopefully, that he's going to have to deal with again.
I agree. So now we broke down the card. We're going to open this up to you guys. This is your time to shine and time to ask any question you want to me and Mike. So fire away, boys and girls, if they're in here.
Song Pizza says he won trips to jail. How do you win those? I didn't know you had to win those. If you win it is the only time you get punished if you win the fight, I guess. You're much more likely to go to jail if you win.
Mike, I'll start off with a question. Your thoughts on what you told me about earlier with Kelvin Gastelum being the replacement fighter in a pretty big upcoming fight?
Oh, yes. Paulo Costa is out. They said very ill, but Robert Whittaker against Kelvin Gastelum. I think Kelvin Gastelum's got... both of these guys have got a great chance to put themselves in a line for a championship shot at a division that I think just became a lot more wide open. Israel Adesanya looked human in a fight against Jan Blachowicz, be it a weight class up. But Kelvin Gastelum, I mean, he gave Adesanya a war. Definitely, the closest any middleweight has came to defeating him. So even though, Gastelum didn't win all of his fights after that, I think that fight is fairly easy to sell when those guys, I believe, ended up being fight of the year for that year. And a pretty good year, too, by the way. Robert Whittaker, a guy that said he didn't want to be champion anymore, that he was relieved that he lost the championship, he seems to have almost had... not quite, but almost had a similar mental rehabilitation to Francis Ngannou. He now says he's embracing the spotlight. He wants a shot at the title. He said that Dana White is not speaking for him. When Dana had mentioned before that Whittaker didn't want to fight for the title, he said that's completely false. I 100% want to fight for the title. So, I mean, a motivated Robert Whittaker, it's been a little while since he fought those 10 rounds with Yoel Romero. Man, that's a hell of a fight.
And in other fighting news, some people were talking about it before we went live, but the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury fight is signed and sealed. They will fight twice. And according to what Mike was saying earlier, we will also be probably getting Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz fight down the line.
Now, boxing wants to do themselves some favors because it seems like they always end up competing with the UFC. I know Fury and Joshua, yeah, that's going to get a lot of draws. It's going to take a lot of eyes away from the UFC. But you put Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz on the wild card, or on the undercard, excuse me. I mean, you only have a couple of big boxing cards a year, and I know you got to spread them out. But, I mean, I think that would be a big 1-2 for boxing. And you come out of the gate saying, hey, we got the top 4 heavyweights, 2 of the guys that have all the straps and the other 2 guys that just lost them. And basically, I mean, this would become a tournament because the winner of Ruiz and Wilder are going to become a mandatory contender eventually to the winner of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer. But they probably won't do it.
I think it's also smart for the Wilder camp to not rush into the third fight with Fury let him fight Ruiz, let the Fury Joshua work its way out. And I think Wilder needs to get some of his mojo back. And I think it would have been a mistake to rush into that third fight.
Well, Wilder called out Ruiz, and, I mean, you know, amnesia for a fighter can be very helpful, especially a fighter who only has one loss. But the way Deontay Wilder took that loss to Tyson Fury, I mean, it gives me serious concern over his overall mental state. I mean, he was saying some insane things like Tyson Fury had bricks in the gloves. His own trainer poisoned him. I mean, this is not just like your run-of-the-mill conspiracy. This is some really loony, like Alex Jones shit here. This is, I mean, do you think he actually believes this stuff, Billy, or does he just need an excuse to...
I think he had such a hard time dealing with the macho-ness in his head of taking the loss. He's never been on that side, and it was just so hard for him to deal with it. When deep down he should have just took his loss and got back to training and worked his way back up to being a better fighter.
Oh, I agree. And I mean, we had all talked, you know, a long time about his issues as a boxer, which basically he was not a boxer. You know, not the greatest jab, really depended on his power, and he'd always got away with it. I was a huge Deontay Wilder fan. He's got some redemption, I think, with me to win me back as a fan, and with a lot of fans. I mean, it's one thing to lose, and especially an undefeated fighter, you can become more popular after a loss. We've seen it with several fighters. Deontay Wilder, I would argue, and I don't even think it's much of an argument, that Tyson Fury knocking him out did much less to derail his career than he did by himself by saying all this crazy shit.
I agree.
And Andrew Ruiz, Psalm Pete says, Andrew Ruiz has been getting in much better shape. He wants that strap back. Andrew Ruiz is a good boxer. He's a good boxer. He's got a good chin. I think he's got, you know, he could give Deontay Wilder some issues. He's going to have a reach disadvantage. We know he's got knockout power, and he's got a huge gift from Tyson Fury. I mean, one of the biggest gifts that any heavyweight has given anybody in a long time, and that's a game plan. He solved the puzzle of how do you defeat Deontay Wilder, and it's stop being scared of the power and move forward. Deontay Wilder is not a guy that can fight very well backing up. That's something that if you don't have a lot of experience, like a huge amateur pedigree like a lot of these guys do in things, or a lot of experience in boxing, that's something that can be easy to expose is by making a fighter, fight backing up.
And the Zone did a really good breakdown of the Ruiz-Joshua first fight, where they showed, Ruiz's technique. And another thing, Joshua didn't fight good backing up in that first fight with Ruiz. So Ruiz has proved he can fight a bigger man and defeat him with his power.
And Deontay Wilder, I don't think Deontay Wilder is capable. Anthony Joshua, basically had to say, okay, I'm going to go out there and this time not give the fans what they want. Remember he knocked Andrew Ruiz down. And Andrew Ruiz came back from a knockdown. He is tough as nails. This guy, I don't know what Deontay Wilder was thinking, honestly, in calling him out, because I think Andrew Ruiz exposes a lot of weaknesses in Deontay Wilder. Lack of boxing skills, a guy that can come back after you knock him down, a guy that has power, a guy that comes forward, a guy that's going to make you fight moving backwards. If I had to bet on this, I might take Andrew Ruiz.
It'll be interesting to see where the fight takes place, too, though.
Yeah, I don't know where it's going to take place. I mean, we're getting full crowds. Not to switch the subject too much, but we have, I guess we will switch the subject. We got a full crowd. UFC 261, we talked about it a little bit. They're going to be 100% capacity in Jacksonville, Florida. I mean, Dana White said he was not going to come back until they could come back at 100% capacity, and boom, there you go. Caution to the wind, and we'll see how it goes, but I think it's going to be an incredible event.
And Mike also let me know that Texas is not going to be having any MMA fights.
Yeah, it looks like they are not on board. They went everywhere. They went to Dallas. They went to, I think the last one was San Antonio. When San Antonio said no, that's when Dana's like, okay, well, I guess we got to go to Florida, which has been open for a little while anyways. What's up, Adam? You hoping Ortega beats Volkanovski so Holloway can have another shot at the belt against Ortega? I almost feel kind of bad about it, Adam, but yes, I do. I'm not a Volkanovski hater. It's not his fault that I believe Max Holloway got ripped off in that decision and that Max Holloway is the greatest featherweight of all time. But yes. Hey, Song, we're losers. Who knows Charlie Z is? Sorry, what was...
There was a COVID spike in Florida this week after the wrestling event, so you might want to hold your breath, boys. I don't know, man. It's still Florida at the end of the day.
Do they care? Do they really care? I don't know. I don't know that they do.
WrestleMania there in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I mean, am I giving a ringing endorsement of having, 20,000 fans or however many it is, basically no precautions in the middle of a pandemic? No, I'm not giving it my endorsement, but I do think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be good to hear that roar of the crowd again. And I hope to God some people there take some safety precautions. And yeah, I hope that it doesn't cause more issues than, what it's worth.
And it makes sense to have the fight there with it being Usman and Masvidal because they both train out of Florida. Their Street Jesus is known from coming from Miami, Florida. So, of all the headlining fights to start back with fans in Florida, I think they picked the right one.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a sellout. I have it on my watch list for them to send me emails for pre-sale. I'm not going to Florida, but I'm just curious how much the tickets are going to be. I'm very curious. But I think they'll sell out. I don't think they really care about what's going on in, with the pandemic or anything like that in Florida. Yeah, I think people are going to show up, and I think you're going to sell more pay-per-views also in Florida for people because there's going to be a lot of hype around Masvidal just when somebody's fighting or playing in your hometown. It's like you're right there, and you feel like you can't go. So I think that's going to pressure some people into buying the pay-per-view, too.
I just want to backtrack real quick. Adam, we'll get your comment in 1 second. But, a while ago, someone said that there's a bare-knuckle fighting card tomorrow night, Mike.
There is, and I've been trying to juggle my week around to be able to cover it. Leonard Garcia is on that one. Leonard Garcia is always fun to watch. I mean, that guy's never been in a boring fight. Let me bring up the Bare Knuckle app.
I'm so impressed with Bare Knuckle. They've exceeded expectations on what they could be as an organization.
By the way, BKTV, $3.99 a month. I mean, and you get all of the Bare Knuckle, all of their old matches for free. You get, they have a lot of foreign fights. They have the Toe the Line series. So next one's going to be in Montana, but the last one I believe they had was in England. The one before that was in Thailand. So Leonard Garcia versus Joe Elmore is the main event. But I know there was somebody on... there's a big one on the co-main event. A former professional boxer. That was a pretty big name, and now I can't think of who it was. look it up on Tapology. Come on here. Yeah, there we go. DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley against Reginald Burnett Jr. Reginald Burnett Jr. has been a really good bare knuckle guy. DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley, for those guys remember, had some good fights against Zab Judah back in the day, and also against Miguel Cotto.
I've been surprised that it's been mostly MMA fighters. Not as many boxers have gotten involved.
Most of the boxers really have underwhelmed too. That's what's really been surprising. And look who else is back on the main card. I just realized this, out of Denver, Colorado. Mr. Melvin Gerard taking on Scott O'Shaughnessy. I think this is a really good venue for Gerard, actually.
Because professional boxer Paulie Malignaggi fought bare knuckle and did not do good at all.
Got schooled by the GOAT.
The GOAT went goat all over him. Made him goat cheese.
Had him saying, praying Nagano or Stipe send Jones back down to 205, so the Izzy versus Jones match still happens. Most of the trash talk, though. Jones beats Izzy, in my opinion. I think Jones beats him as well. Just a second. I think my dog needs out, and I'll make it quick and be right back.
I agree. I think Jones would take out Izzy. Just watching the way that Izzy fought, Blachowicz, I think Jones is going to be easy work out Izzy, but I still want to see that fight. It would be a great promo tour they could put on. Adam says Stipe, but kind of want Ngannou to win so he can send Jones into the shadow realm. Right. I'm very intrigued because me and Mike were talking. Ngannou's been training with Usman, working on his wrestling game. So if you remember the last time, Stipe used his wrestling to defeat Francis. So Francis can negate that and keep it on the feet. It just takes him to just touch someone. He has so much power, and it could turn into a horrible night. And my gut really is saying that Francis is going to knock Stipe out pretty fast. I don't want that to happen, but that's what I feel like is going to happen. What are you guys' thoughts on the Stipe Ngannou fight? Does Stipe beat Jones, though? I don't know what Jones is going to look like at heavyweight with the extra weight. That's such a open-ended question because no one knows what he's going to look like. Does he keep the athleticism? I know he's going to keep the reach, but... So he was saying... Like how Izzy got dominated by the bigger fighter with Jan. It's going to be really fun to see what happens.
I heard Jones was saying that he was only up to 245 and he needed to put on more weight. I think that's plenty. And I even heard Derek Lewis saying recently that he wants to get down to 245, 250 because he feels like it would help him. So, maybe he's just spitballing and trying to get everybody looking this way, and then he's going to juke that way and come in around 245. If he comes in over 245, though, I think it's a mistake.
Shout out Paige Van Zandt putting work in BKFC. She could easily just be an Instagram model, but chooses to get her face cut up. She's always been like that, man. Since her first fight, she could have walked away and became a model, done some small acting roles, but she likes to compete, and that's why we all love her.
She's a tough lady, yeah. Massive respect. Stipe with the takedowns, Hassan Pizza. People were asking, who do you think, guys, got on Stipe versus Ngannou? I still think Stipe is going to have enough left to win, and I think it's just a bad matchup for Ngannou. I think Stipe is going to take him down some more, but Francis's power is always scary. And, I'm going to be nervous for Stipe that entire fight.
I was telling him, Mike, that while you were gone about Francis training with Usman on the ground game.
That is huge. That is huge. Like I said, if Khabib is truly retired, which Dana White, of course, is doing everything in his power to make sure he's not, Kamaru Usman, I would say, is by far the top wrestler in the UFC. So, I mean, if Ngannou has been training with Usman that whole time, and I believe people have said Usman walks around at over 200 pounds. So, I mean, you're almost simulating Stipe at that point. Yeah, there's still a decent, weight gap, but not enough that I think that's going to be incredibly helpful. Stipe is a good wrestler. He's no Kamaru Usman as far as this wrestling. I mean, who is? But, Stipe, I think Stipe, if I was to judge his wrestling in, a generally, usually weak heavyweight division, I'd say if Usman's a 9, Stipe's a 6.5.
Song saying, we have no proof Ngannou is improved. He has 3 fights with only 70 seconds of time in the cage. That's a good point.
That's a really good point. A lot of people have been bringing that up. Because the guy melts the competition. That's not Stipe. It is true. Yeah, no, that's going to be interesting. And I don't know how many people listened to Derek Lewis on Joe Rogan this last week. But, I mean, obviously that makes the heavyweight division, that much more interesting and also that much more difficult, I'm sure, for Dana White. Because John Jones has been promised the winner of Ngannou-Stipe. Now, if Ngannou wins, if Stipe doesn't retire, I don't see him wanting to do anything but fight for the belt. So if he can't get the immediate rematch, by the time Ngannou and Jones fight, he's going to be chopping at the bit to get that rematch so much. And then you're going to have Derek Lewis in the wings, who wants to fight in the meantime, said it's likely going to be Cyril Gane, which is another interesting fight, and a lot of win-wins in the heavyweight division. But Derek Lewis, he's a problem for anyone.
Once again, guys, if you look at the pinned comment on here, it's for the MMA with Friends NCAA Tournament Bracket Challenge. If you guys join, it's free to join. Anyone can join, so you can spread the word to anyone else that you know would want to participate. If we get at least 10 people in there, the prize will be a $25 gift card. If we get up to 25 people, it goes to a $75 gift card, and you get an automatic entry into the Stipe and Ngannou giveaway for the $50 UFC store gift card. So it's a win-win all the way around. You don't need to know diddly squat about basketball. You just pick the teams, give it a shot. It's free to enter, and it's a chance to make a little cashish.
March Madness is my favorite time of the year. Not even just sports. I used to take vacation for like 10 days to watch as many of the first round games as I could, and as many games all the way through March Madness. And we had to wait an entire year to get to this. So I'm very excited. Not only that, my favorite team, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, are number 1 in the nation. So I'm ecstatic. I hope you guys decide to join.
I forgot to say, Mike set it up to you can fill out up to 3 brackets. So you can fill out 3 brackets, so that means you'll have 3 chances to win the money. So if you and your friends get in, just 5 of your friends, and you each fill out 3, one of you probably is going to take home the money. And like I said, me and Mike are not winning the money. So if you come in 3rd behind us, you still win the money. So it's a no-brainer to try to win some cash, even if you only pick who the higher seed is the whole way out. Sometimes that wins too.
Yeah, I mean, there's always upsets in that first and second round, but yeah, maybe not enough to get you through. Have you looked at the seeds a lot though, and called out any upsets yet?
Honestly, if I'm going to give anyone advice when you fill out your bracket, I don't think there's going to be a lot of upsets this year.
What about Rutgers and Clemson? I mean, it's a 10 and 7, so that's pretty close.
I actually am leaning Clemson on that one.
Okay. So we're leaning the favorite on that one. I think that's going to be a good game.
Yeah. Does anyone have any more MMA or boxing questions to ask? Any more topics that you want to discuss? Anything else in the MMA news world to fire off? This is your time. This is your forum.
Gane has fantastic movement for a heavyweight. Wouldn't be mad at Jones versus Lewis, but John needs a title shot right away. Yeah, I mean, John earned it. It doesn't matter the weight class at this point. I agree. Gon showed a lot of caution and really knows how to use his reach. He looks damn good. His biggest problem against Rosenstruck, and maybe it's not a problem for winning, but it's definitely a problem for Dana White and for getting asses in the seats, is that fight was extremely boring. And I mean, I think, he probably comes into a fight with Derek Lewis with a similar game plan, and I think it'll backfire on him.
What was the bigger upset, Dustin versus Conor or Yan versus Izzy? My opinion, neither one was an upset. The better fighter won in both. Just because Izzy's not big enough to fight at 205, and I think Conor took too much time off, and the fight game has passed him by. I think he needs to really go back to the drawing board and get back to what made him special. But Dustin deserves the credit to be known as, without Khabib, the best lightweight in the world right now.
I'm going to agree to disagree on which is the bigger upset, at least, because I think Yan defeating Izzy was a huge upset. I mean, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't, because, I was big on Izzy through this whole thing. I thought he had so many advantages. I thought he was really just going to dominate the fight. If you really made me pick between Dustin and Conor, I was really leaning towards Dustin anyway. So I do agree with you on that part. I don't think that was an upset at all. But I do think Yan defeating Izzy with all of Izzy's striking background, and especially, the odds, the favor of the crowd, everything that was going on, I think that was a huge upset.
Adam says, have you guys seen Quintet? 5 vs. 5, stays in submission only, jiu-jitsu competition, extremely entertaining. I have not.
I haven't either. I've seen 5-on-5 versus MMA. That is crazy. So I could imagine Quintet's probably going to be pretty crazy too. Can they go 2 and 3 on 1 when it's submission only? That's what I'll tell you. I almost got kind of scared watching that because it's 5-on-5, and when somebody gets eliminated, they can go 2 or 3 guys can just pound on one guy, and that was that actually made me a little uncomfortable.
Before we get back to the chat, once again I want to send my condolences to the Hagler family on us losing one of the greatest fighters of all time, and marvelous Marvin Hagler. May he fly easy and rest in peace.
Yeah, way too early to lose a legend. I'm really glad, at least that, a guy that he was tied to forever, should be tied to forever. I cannot think of Marvin Hagler without thinking of Thomas Hearns. And Thomas Hearns, was with him there in his last days. He was there in the hospital with him. And so sad to lose a legend like that. But that's, that's like Rocky visiting Apollo in the hospital or something.
It showed you the camaraderie of the fight game, that these two warriors that fought their hearts out against each other, some of the greatest moments in boxing history, and just the competition between the two made them such close friends, and that's just awesome to see.
Yeah, if you haven't, or if you have, go back and watch it. It's easy to forget how crazy those 3 rounds were between Hagler and Hearns. And that first round, it looks fake. It looks fake almost to today. Those guys are so fast. There's so much going on. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. It's once in a lifetime for sure. John says, I think Dustin McGregor, I had a fantasy that McGregor would have claimed the 155 throne. And that's a fantasy now, man. I'm very intrigued to see where Conor goes with his career from here on out. And I think Dustin's trajectory, I honestly think Dustin's a couple fights away from getting out of the fight game. He has so much going on other than fighting that he's ready to transition to something else in his life. So,
well, he accomplished his biggest goal. In my mind, I know they have not put the belt around his waist, but it's like, unless Khabib is going to come out and say, I'm not retired, I'm scheduling a fight right now. I mean, Dustin's the champion. Even Khabib said give him the belt. He's the champ, but I think the only way Conor gets back there is if they give him, which I think is kind of ill-advised for the future of the UFC, but they're going to get rewarded in the short term. If they give him an immediate rematch against Dustin, with his power, he's always got a chance.
Yeah. Chandler will be the lightweight champion. No time will tell.
Chandler's trying to pull Khabib out of retirement. He actually said, I think it was today or yesterday, he said, I can pull Khabib out of retirement. So, we'll see.
All right, guys. I don't know.
Super Tech Tricks, how's it going? Hey, I'm doing good, man.
Some says, I think Zhang will beat Rose. I hope not. I'm a big Rose fan. Zhang is uber talented, and I think she's going to be the heavy favorite. But never count out Rose. She was a big underdog when she won the title the first time. So.
And she defeated Joanna twice. I thought Joanna defeated Weili Zhang. It's a very close fight. It's not one of those I would argue too much on the score about the scorecard. But for what it's worth, you know, I did give her the fight 3 rounds to 2. But styles make fights. I think Rose has a great chance.
You want to post, I know it's pinned, but you want to post that link in the regular chat one more time, Mike? For
yeah.
Say adios.
Yeah, let me see if I...
Poirier is the champ right now for sure. I completely agree. I'm happy for Rose getting a title shot, but kind of wanted to see Joanna Zhang too instead. They had to give Rose a shot. She's been sitting in the background for so long. They had to. I understand why people want to see the rematch. That was a great fight.
Yeah, no, that's going to be good. And one last thing on the Poirier thing for the champion. I don't think that hurts him at all, not having the belt. I actually think it gets more support behind you. When somebody knows that you should have something and they feel like you've been wronged, I feel like that just gets people to push you that much further. Roy Jones Jr. credited being robbed of the gold medal during the Olympics for a lot of his popularity and support during his professional career.
Watching Andrade almost kill Rose in round 3 of the rematch made me rethink Rose's chances. I could see that. Rose is so hard not to root for. She's such a good person.
Yeah, she's been away for a long time, though. I mean, she hasn't not been active in a while.
Yeah, but on the other side, she's been helping a lot of the other females in her fight camp train for their upcoming fights, so it's not like she's been completely inactive, but there is a difference between training and real fighting time, so.
And maybe that's what she needed. We'll save the prediction on Zhang and Namajunas till it gets a little closer. But
my wife Valentina is fighting 2 great fights against Jessica. I am so surprised on the goal that Andrade's going to fight Shevchenko. Tough lady, but Shevchenko's going to wipe them out with her, and we're going to get the super fight that the MMA world wants, and that's Nunes-Shevchenko 3.
I really hope that we do get that one. Anyways, well, yeah. Absolutely. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I really hope you guys join us for Saturday for Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland. I think that's a great matchup. I hate to say it, but I don't want to announce something and then feel like I'm letting anybody down. So I really don't know what I'm doing for Bare Knuckle tomorrow. If I am going to end up doing it, I'll let you guys know as soon as I know.
And real quick, guys, like I've been saying, I sound like a robot. Click that link. Join our bracket challenge. It's free to join. It's public, so you can share with anyone you think that will want to compete, and you can win some money. As long as we get 10 people in there, you're going to win at least $25 if you win it. If we get 25 people in there, it's $75, and you get into the Francis Stipe drawing. So it's a win-win. So click that link. Make your picks. You have until 12:15 tomorrow morning Eastern Standard Time to join us. And thanks for having me on, Mike. I will sign off first, so you can do yours as you always do. And I'll see you guys Saturday night, maybe tomorrow, but thanks for joining.
All right. Thank you again, Billy. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thank you guys for joining us. Sorry we didn't really get to announce this, but basically we wanted to let everybody know about the NCAA tournament. And then, of course, we were chatting for 3 hours, so we started talking about MMA and thought we'd invite you guys. Good chatting with you too, John. All right, guys, thanks again. Cannot wait till Saturday. Like I said, whether you're watching my stream for the live reaction, or if you watch it live, BKFC or BKTV, it's only $3.99 an app. I think it's a great deal. You get all those old fights of BKFC. You can watch anytime, and then you get all the new events, and then you can rewatch them at any time after watching them live. So, big advocate of that one. Until next time, as always, I love you. I respect you. And I'll see your fine asses later.